In this video, I am walking you through prone hamstring curls with a pillow or a block. So I personally use a yoga block, but actually for this exercise, the yoga block's probably a fairly hard way of doing this. So if you have got a pillow, a loo roll, a foam roller, but what we're looking for is something that's going to keep your feet about hip distance apart, and you're going to put either side of your feet against the thing that you have. That will hopefully make a bit more sense in a minute, but you are looking for something which is probably about 6 inches across, because that's about hip width apart, and that's what we're trying to do for our feet. So we're coming to the prone position, which is laying on our tummy. And I'll just show you the vague movement that we're going to do so that you can decide what thing you have at home that's best. So you can see here, I'll wiggle myself around. So you can see here that I've got the block that way around, which is keeping my ankles at about hip width. And the movement is going to look a little something like this. So this is the overall movement that we're going after. And I'm keeping those toes pointed against the block like so. So you might have a yoga block and you might be absolutely fine, but you might think you've got something else which will work well. Try not to use a pillow that's too squishy, because otherwise your ankles are going to be much narrower than your hips, which isn't what we want. So for this exercise, you're laying prone, your upper body is completely relaxed, your kind of arms are out like so, however is comfortable for you. And you're making sure that you don't have a huge arch in your lower back with your bottom facing upwards like so. You're trying to keep your hips, my cat's about to come onto the screen. Hello, Ed. Thank you very much for this. Story of my life. Get the cat out of the way, come on. So you're trying to make sure that your bottom doesn't lift off with a big arch in your lower back and the hips lifting. The hips stay snug on the floor. The bottom actually tucks under, so you're sort of tucking your pelvis under, and can you see how that makes my back flat? So this is going to put the work into your hips extending, rather than have the lower back kind of compensating and hyperextending. So you're trying to keep yourself quite sort of tucked under in that pelvis throughout the movement. For some of you that'll be really easy, and for some of you it'll be quite difficult. I find it difficult because I am somebody who likes to dunk into my lower back when I'm standing up. So upper body relaxed, pelvis stays under, my feet are really actively pointing, dorsiflexion, and I'm keeping the entire inner length of my feet evenly against the block. So my big toes are in contact with the block, as are my heels and the inside edge of my feet. I'm not just touching the block with my heels or just touching the block with my big toes. We're trying to get this even, firm pressure into the block as we maintain a gentle squeeze with both of our feet. And then without moving the kind of pelvis and the lower back into this position, so you shouldn't notice that your pelvis starts moving around like crazy, you are using your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, to draw your feet up as close to your bottom as you can manage. So the feet stay super active. They're squeezing into that block through the whole inner edge, like so. And as I'm moving through this, my upper body stays nice and relaxed. My pelvis stays tucked under, because I'm someone that if I rush this, I'll show you what I'll do if I rush this. If I rush this, I would do this. So you can see that I'm kind of just like dunking into my lower back to get the movement. My lower back wants to curl, my bum wants to lift off. Lower back's compensating. Tuck under in the pelvis so the bottom of your spine is long. You're going to feel less limit, so you're going to feel more limited in your range of movements, but you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings, and you're also going to get more extension through the hip, which is the aim of the exercise. The block is helping to wake up the external rotators of your hip. So you should feel that by squeezing the block a little bit, you're feeling a bit more work going on around about your glute area, because that's where the external rotators of the hip are located. So this is not just stretching your hip and working your hamstrings, it's also waking up your glutes a little bit as well. And it's prone hamstring curls with a block.